back in today NFL mock draft. Now, the first time we did a mock draft, we were looking at somebody else, what they were predicting. Today, the GOAT is here to make my official predictions. This is the first time I'm predicting the mock draft. We're going to go with every single team and make the selection that I think will take place. Again, all 32 teams, round one mock draft. No trades for this one today. Right here you can see the big board. So we're going to go player by player, and we're going to be the one drafting these guys. So let's hop in to the mock draft. So pick number 1, we have the Tennessee Titans. Now picks 1 through 18, boys, these are already set. Then you look down at the playoff teams, 19 through 32. These are all going to change pending the results of the playoffs. So that's something that we're going to have to keep in mind for sure. So looking at how I think this is going to go, we got the Tennessee Titans now holding the number 1 draft pick. They have Will Levis. Is he the quarterback of the future? They have, Mason Rudolph. He's trash. We all know that. The Titans have Calvin Ridley locked up on contract. Westbrook-Akine is a solid target. I mean, they have a decent running back room with Pollard and Tyjae Spears. Tyjae Spears being that young talent. The Titans, they are looking not that good, which is why they're the number 1 pick. They kind of lucked into it. Now, in all reality, if the Titans decide they don't want to pick a quarterback, I could see them trading back with one of these quarterback-needy teams. Maybe the Giants, maybe the Browns, because these two teams are potentially taking a quarterback here. So I do think the Titans have a potential to trade out, but I also think that, Will Levis, he ain't cutting it. Remember, they benched Will Levis midseason already for Mason Rudolph. And with that said, I think the first quarterback off the board, it's not any of these guys. We got to start scrolling. And in fact, there he is. Number 6. I believe Cam Ward will be the first quarterback taken if the Titans go ahead and take him. He had a great college career, saved his best performances for his last at Miami, became a Heisman contender, very strong arm, kind of similar to Will Levis, solid decision maker, and with Cam Ward and Will Levis, surely one of them can establish themselves as maybe some hope in Tennessee. Pick number 2, Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns. Very, very interesting right here. We have Travis Hunter on the board, and we have Shedeur Sanders. The Browns, they ain't trading back. They're taking one of these two guys right here. Now, are they going Shedeur Sanders, who, might not be as refined, but he might be a higher prospect than Cam Ward. He might be the best quarterback in the draft. But some people say he's not going to be good at all. Okay. They already have Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson just suffered a setback in his injury, and he might need surgery again this offseason. So Deshaun Watson ain't looking good. Or they have Travis Hunter. Now, Travis Hunter, he might not be, he's probably not the best receiver in this draft class. Luther Burden, he's up there with being a great receiver as well. There are some, McMillan for sure. We have other good receivers in this class, but the fact that Travis Hunter, he might be just as good of a cornerback as Will Johnson, the best cornerback on the board right here. So, is Travis Hunter going to play both sides of the ball? The Browns would need to factor that in. Ultimately, with the Deshaun Watson setback, I'm going Shedeur Sanders right here for the Cleveland Browns. And the Giants get shafted, boys. This is why I believe the Giants might have to offer, their soul to the Tennessee Titans to trade up for a quarterback. Or else, you're left with a cornerback, Travis Hunter. I believe Travis Hunter goes number 3 as of right now. Arguably one of the best players in the NFL draft just because he wants to play both ways. I don't know what kind of maturity we're seeing as of late of Travis Hunter, but we'll have to see. He's a shutdown cornerback. That's all that matters. He'd be a very Heisman winner, very good addition to this New York Giant team, and they need all the help they can get. Now we have the New England Patriots, and it's not going to be a flashy pick. I'm not going to lie. The Patriots need a lot. They just fired head coach Jared Mayo after 1 season. But Drake May had a solid season. Now, we're going to do a video, regrading all the 2024 draft picks. So go, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. We got a bunch of bangers coming. We're going to be doing some more mock drafts as well as we get more information, and especially as teams get eliminated in the playoffs. The Patriots, you got to protect the young talent. And how do you protect the young talent? Well, you go ahead and you take an offensive lineman, I believe. And the offensive lineman that I'm going to be giving this guy right here, this team, I'm going to be giving them Will Campbell, offensive tackle, LSU. I believe the Patriots go ahead and select him. Jacksonville Jaguars at number 5. Okay, now the Jaguars are a solid team. They have BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., already locked down at the receiver core. They're going to have Evan Ingram. Hopefully he's healthier. They already have their QB with Trevor Lawrence. They fired their head coach. The Jaguars, too, have some talent on their depth chart. They just haven't really been able to pull it all together ever since they got rid of Jalen Ramsey. Well, fear no more. I'm giving you guys back a cornerback, potentially the best cornerback in the draft, especially depending on what position Travis Hunter plays. We're going Will Johnson to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good addition. Number 6, the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is where things do get quite interesting. It's really hard to say what kind of a position the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be drafting here in the draft. We have Abdul Carter. People have a couple mock drafts I was looking at, boys. They had Abdul Carter going number 1 overall in the draft. Abdul Carter, he's got a lot of talent, don't get me wrong. And the Titans could potentially just not take cornerback if they wanted to. But I just don't think that it would be wise of them to go ahead and take Abdul Carter right here. You know why? Yes, Jacoby Myers is all right. Jacoby Myers, he's fine. It's okay. We're not going to complain about Mr. Jacoby Myers. But, who would be really solid as well? The number 1 receiver in the draft. Ted McMillan goes to Las Vegas, and the Las Vegas Raiders now have their franchise receiver. They got Ted McMillan, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, and I don't know, maybe Henry Ruggs if he gets on parole. Jets. The New York Jets is the next team on the draft board, and they kind of luck out here. The Jets, presuming, we don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be looking like, so it's hard to project that, but all the quarterbacks are gone, man. Unless they want to take Jalen Milroe, which is not happening. So that means they kind of luck out, and they have somebody who's a bit of a faller. Abdul Carter, edge, Penn State. Good defensive lineman. Kind of small, but he's explosive, and the pursuit is crazy. So Abdul Carter is going to be a good pick for this New York Jet team. Number 8, Carolina and the Carolina Panthers. Momentum to finish the season. You can see right here, kind of a bit of another faller. There's a lot of good edge rushers in this year's draft. A lot of good defensive line. And a couple cornerbacks and safeties as well that are pretty solid, high up on the board. Not as many skill positions. And, something that a lot of people don't know. This year's halfback position is very, very good in this draft. So good that Ashton Jenney might be a bit of a faller because the other running backs are also pretty good as well, and they're undervalued. Mason Graham, though, is going to be the Carolina Panthers projection right here. He's a solid, defensive lineman out of Michigan. Debatably one of the best D linemen in the draft, right up there with Abdul Carter. And the Panthers are good. They're potentially trying to look to build into a playoff run in a year or two, and they got to bolster up that defense. Number 9, the New Orleans Saints. The Saints, they need a bit of everything, man. The Saints need a bit of everything. You got Olave who can't stay healthy. You got Derek Carr. You got Kamara who's getting old. Do the Saints potentially take Ashton Jenney? Or are they satisfied with Kendre Miller as their pick from a couple years ago? I could see them taking Ashton Jenney. I'm not going to lie. I could see Ashton Jenney going as high as this. We saw Jahmyr Gibbs with that Lions surprise pick, however many years back. But I'm going to project it a little bit safer and say that the Saints go ahead and take the top safety off of the board of Malachi Starks. The Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. He looked all right. Now, honestly, I'm not going to say he looked good because I don't think he did. But, when you have a young quarterback, when you're kind of going all in on that quarterback, you can see we're going offense, and we're going Josh Simmons, offensive tackle. Bears bolster out that O-line. Voice crack. What am I doing? San Francisco 49ers, number 11. Again, the 49ers, they got the quarterback, they got the receivers, they got Kittle if he doesn't retire. They got a solid defense, too. They just got to stay healthy, and they got to win games. And they're going to have a nice steal of a pick right here with Kelvin Banks Jr., one of the best O-linemen in this year's draft. He becomes a 49. Now, this is where things get interesting. Very interesting, in fact. Who do the Cowboys take, man? Who do the Cowboys take? And everyone's screaming his name in the comments. If I don't predict Ashton Jenney to the Cowboys, then there's going to be a riot in my comment section. But I also think that Jerry Jones knows. If Jerry Jones doesn't get Ashton Jenney, then all the Cowboys fans will be on him like you've never seen. So I think we got to predict Ashton Jenney becomes a Dallas Cowboy. Number 13, we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, nothing too pretty right here. Kind of just bolstering up a solid defense. We're going to have to get Nick Skirden, edge from Texas A&M, heading to Miami. Number 14. This is another interesting prediction of mine. What position do the Colts not have? They quote-unquote have their quarterback. They have their receivers with Pittman. They have Josh Allen, who's really, really good. They have their running back, Jonathan Taylor. Defense, the D-line is all right. Maybe they can go corner. Maybe they can go O-line, corner. Okay, that's fine. Or get a little fancy. You finish up that offense besides O-line. You finish up that offense with the number one, debatably number one tight end in the draft, and you go Tyler Warren. You have a big body tight end. You replace Mo Alley Cox or whoever the hell their tight end is, and Tyler Warren will be a guy that he can get you, a 750 receiving yard season as a rookie, and I think he's going to be a solid tight end option for Anthony Richardson for sure, especially with that medium depth, short route running. Maybe even some wildcat formation, stuff like that. With Tyler Warren being able to do wildcat along with Anthony Richardson, they could probably draw up some very, very unique plays. I think Tyler Warren to the Colts would be a very, very good pick. Number 15, we have the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to go ahead and give them an edge rusher. They need some edge rushers on the defensive line. Mykel Williams out of Georgia. The Arizona Cardinals, another player from Georgia. We're going to see a bit of a run, I guess. Whereas we got to go with Jalen Walker. So I think he's a linebacker. Let me check. Yeah, so linebacker, Georgia, Jalen Walker, going ahead to go to the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to go a little bit faster through the end of this draft until we get, there's going to be a run. There's one position we haven't seen. Where are the receivers? We'll get to them, don't worry. Number 17, the Bengals. Again, the Bengals might actually be one of these teams that gets one of the receivers. Presumably, T. Higgins is gone. Do they go ahead and take the shiny object, Luther Burden, still on the board? Again, the first receiver off the board, potentially, because actually, the first receiver after Ted McMillan, because we don't know if Travis Hunter's playing both positions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Cincinnati Bengals, I think that they go with an edge rusher, man. We got a bit of a faller right here. I believe they go James Pierce Jr. in this situation. The Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, man, they'd love to have all these guys. They already have Lockett. They already have Metcalf. They have Noah Fant. I don't think they need a skill position right here. I think they need an offensive tackle. And so we're going to go ahead and give them an offensive tackle that I believe could help them out, which is Arante Ursary. Again, offensive guard, interchangeable. They can always switch positions. Just O-line. The Houston Texans are up next. Again, I believe that they will probably go somewhere on the offensive line as well. So we're going to go Wyatt Milam right here from West Virginia. The Tampa Buccaneers. The Buccaneers. Do they potentially go with Luther Burden? They got Mike Evans. He's old. They got Chris Godwin. He's old. The reason I don't think that they would, they might. I mean, this is where I think that somebody gets picked who's a skill position guy, right? It's hard to predict right here, but I think that they would probably not pick one of those players because of the fact that Jalen McMillan has looked pretty solid in his rookie season. Maybe they give McMillan some time to develop and they pick elsewhere. With another position they need, cornerback. The Buccaneers defense, their secondary, has been flammable, and if they're 20th, then they probably lost in the playoffs in a shootout to the Commanders. So, I mean, the Buccaneers will need some help for sure. Number 21, the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, they didn't get Tyler Warren, no more Taysom Hill 2.0 with Sean Payton, but, Jimmy Graham 2.0 will go ahead and come home. Now, would the Broncos take a receiver over their tight end they need? They might go ahead and take Burden there, but I'm not sure, man. Bo Nix has looked solid with the guys he already has. Let him build that chemistry and get him his cornerstone tight end, Colston Loveland. People seem to love him from Michigan. Heading up next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is where it happens. Steelers fans are happy, Steelers fans will be extremely happy with this outcome. Roman Wilson is a nobody. George Pickens is a diva. Luther Burden, this might ruin his career and his emotional mindset eventually. But Luther Burden's going to he would be a great addition. 5'11", 210 pounds, inside threat who throws with the ball in his hands. Russell Wilson would turn him into a star-studded player, especially with the way Russell Wilson looked earlier of the season. The Los Angeles Rams are up next as of this draft, and we're going to go with another offensive lineman, Cameron Williams, protect Matt Stafford at all costs, and they'll be just fine. Now we go D-line, and this is a bit of a faller. I know, let me see, he's not here on this big board. Kenneth Grant, so I have him at 41 on this board, but I've seen him a lot higher, and I think the Packers would be very happy with another Michigan defensive tackle. The Los Angeles Chargers, I believe that they also will most likely go defense in this draft, and we're going to go ahead and give them Shamar Stewart. The Ohio State receiver, still on the board, not much longer. Washington Commanders. Now, per the draft, the Commanders, quote-unquote, don't need a wide receiver. BS. Give Jaden Daniels, the potential offensive rookie of the year, a star-studded receiver to work with. Honestly, I could see the Washington Commanders trading up higher to get Jaden Daniels one of his receivers that he can build around. Emeka Egbuka, OSU, heads to Washington. Baltimore Ravens up next, and I believe the Ravens will most likely go with defense. We'll give them one of the best corners left on the board, Trey Amos. Philadelphia Eagles, so this is where things get interesting. The Eagles don't need a cornerback. They are a cornerback university as of the last couple drafts. A bit of a faller. Siobhan Rebel, now his ADP is around 30, so I don't know why they have him at 13 on this big board. Maybe it's like their PFF grade. I got to go with the Eagles. What position do the Eagles really need? Not many, but I'm going to go with an edge. They could use another edge rusher. We're going to go with this guy from Arkansas, if I can find him, Landon Jackson, edge rusher. The Buffalo Bills. Bills, again, solid team already. They're going to keep building pieces around Josh Allen to help them win. And Josh Allen, he can control the offense, but he can't control the defense. Tyleik Williams, defensive line, Ohio State. Then we have the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I don't know if they're going to make it this far in the playoffs, but, top 3. We'll see about that. NFC champ. They have the Eagles getting shafted in the playoffs. Okay, that's great. Minnesota Vikings, they get their cornerback. Bit of a faller on this big board. Talented guy for sure, you can see as per these projections. The Detroit Lions, number 31, meaning they lose the Super Bowl. Get wrecked, I guess. We're going to go with this guy with a long name. Princely Umanmielen, edge rusher, Detroit. Kansas City Chiefs closing the draft out. The Chiefs, they always could use another offensive lineman, and there is an offensive lineman left who's pretty highly projected. I guess not on here, though. I don't know what this big board. 90. They said he's 90. You must be out of your mind. Greg Zabel, offensive tackle, and that concludes the NFL draft. Here's the board, boys. Here's my first predicted NFL mock draft for the 2025 season. Now that the top 18 are locked in, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Obviously, we're going to have trades. And obviously, the bottom half of this board is going to shake up, which can definitely impact whether the Broncos get Colston Loveland, who gets Luther Burden. You can see a lot still up in the air. Potentially that North Carolina running back, too. He could be going first round. So smash the like and subscribe button, boys. Thanks for watching.